sure you're already following us on all social media, wherever we are present, for this very own podcast which we have started in our Orchid school. This is known as Our Voices, hashtag Unfiltered. So today, for the same, to taking the tradition ahead, we have with us our students. Yes, if you may introduce
Uh,
yourself.
I'm Arav Nath from class 11 Humanities.
I'm Sia Chaturvedi from class 11th Humanities.
I'm so happy to have students being so good and enthusiastic about being part of this because the conversations can not be that easy sometimes,
Yeah.
but you choose to be part of this. Thank you so much for that. And today's topic is very relevant to all generations, irrespective of whether we are sitting this side or that side. The topic is networking is adding to a net worth. Is it true, relevant, or it is just a cliched statement? Right? So we'll take this conversation with a question for you. That do you really believe that there is something called networking?
Yes, of course, networking is something that we do every day in various places. Networking is just like, I would say, glorified manner of just our everyday activities because man is a social animal. We need to make connections. And when these connections come in useful, we call them networking.
Very good, very nice. I mean, the social element of being human
Yeah.
is all about networking
Yes,
and all.
that's right.
So I'll ask you, what do you think about net worth?
Net worth, I think when people think of net worth, they usually associate with how much money you have or how much money you have in your pocket, but that's not true. Your net worth can be based off of anything. I think your net worth has several meanings. Now you can think of the net worth as a person, how you are as a person, how adapted, how evolved you are as a person. It can also be how much money you have in your wallet, but not
That's
necessarily
important.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when if what I've understood about networking and net worth of a person, right? From very social to your personal agenda or focus or whatever. I mean, it can't be intentional always. Unintended outcome is that you grow out of that
Correct.
network. So how do you relate both?
I would say that net worth as a concept is a spectrum, and us, we are just people sliding on the scale or spectrum, and the networks that we make act as some kind of lubricant between us and this spectrum. The more networks we have, the easier it is for us to move along the scale. But at the end of the day, we need to have put some amount of force in. It is true that if we have a lot of connections, especially in places where we aspire to be, it leads to a much smoother transition or much smoother acquisition of positions. Although in the cases where people put absolutely zero force, it's the laws of physics. If you put absolutely zero force, you'll get absolutely zero outcome. I mean, the phrase black sheep of the family doesn't come out of nowhere, right? So I believe as humans and as members of a family and a community, I think it's very essential that we don't take these connections for granted and we make full use of these.
Yeah. So what a nice way, rather technical way of explaining all this from a very social, perspective to very technical thing and also meaningful message. What do you think about this connect between networking and network?
I think that especially in this generation where we're growing up, networking is definitely we a lot. Our generation is basically running in a popularity contest right now.
Okay.
Now you can think of networking in both ways, whether it's socially or professionally. Professionally, it can be extremely helpful. You can make connects. Um, you can make connects. You can use
It's a
it for
huge
your education.
resource.
Yes, you can use it as a resource. Socially, I think networking is also we.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, this adds to your own persona by taking something from people who you network with.
Yes.
You become kind of more relevant.
Correct.
You understand what is the person on the other side looking for, and then you try and imbibe certain things
Correct.
from your
Correct.
network. Yeah.
Correct.
So, networking is always not about professional growth,
Correct.
right? Like we were like thinking about that. Like, if networking is for me, myself as a person, and forget about what is going to help me as credentials and potential references to the jobs and all, why do I need to network with people? Because what I have understood, maybe a judgment only in a very not so positive way. People believe that this generation doesn't want to talk much. They don't want to connect much. They want to be with themselves or maybe few of the people. Then will it be an effort to come out of that silo and then make an effort to network?
The something I've personally noticed is that our generation, as Sia said, there's a lot of factors that affect our generation directly. One being the popularity contest of social media, and one thing we see on social media is people leading healthy and productive lives,
Right.
and because of that, productivity and performativeness in general has become kind of the pinnacle of what we assume as height from a social standpoint. So because of that, any activity that we're doing, we're expecting some kind of immediate physical output that we're getting from that. And I used to be like that too, but I discussed this with one of my mentors, and he told me this, and I've carried this for many years as a very valuable saying. Any activity that you're doing, it can either be productive or you can learn something from it. It can be one of two things. So if you're learning from something, in the beginning it feels like, oh, I just wasted some amount of time. That's the immediate thought that comes to us. But in the end, you've learned something from it. And a lot of people don't see that. I mean, I didn't see it either. It took two or three more people to open up my eyes to that fact. And that's the thing. Our generation is also known as the nonchalant generation. We don't want guidance, quote unquote. That's like a cliche thing that's been sprung onto us. And the combination of not wanting guidance with the potentiality of being misguided is just pushing us into this really tight spot, which prevents us from doing all these things.
Right, right. So I just want to, add some context where we are, like in India, in the families we have. We have like families, extended families, cousins, friends. So that in itself is a huge network, right?
Correct.
So when we were growing up, we depended so much actually on that network.
It's a network being handed to you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Correct.
by just virtue of being a member of that
Yeah.
network, you
Correct.
learn so much. Or somebody's son or daughter is doing something, let's learn something and do it. But with the change in time, right, with the limitations, I mean, it's not that one is doing it on purpose, but it's the way the life is now. So one is looking beyond the family networking, right?
Correct.
So do you think network is always wanting to have something in exchange? It's give and take. Can the network be only just to upgrade yourself, understanding from others perspective? Oh, I still have to work on this, like we all do in school. There is a portfolio, right? And I have ticked this, but if I have to tick on this, I need to network the people of that kind of background or organization. So do you think that is a good thing to do, to just tick the networking people and the scenario and sphere just because there is a requirement of a portfolio?
I would say that networking doesn't stop at that. I feel like networking is a form of friendship, although it may not be as strong as true friendship. It is still a form of friendship, and we must treat it as one. And the friendship isn't the concept of friendship isn't a concept of give and take, right? We aren't friends with people because of a give and take relationship. We're friends with people because we've grown together, and therefore networks are also something that you can grow together through.
So, that's where he's talking about. I will just get back to you again, asking you when there is just a give and take element of networking, the growth probably gets stranded somewhere. Reason because then once you have achieved what you wanted from that network, you withdraw yourself.
That's right. Definitely, when you build a network, maintaining it throughout the years is very important. And it's not an easy task because it's not like you have one or two networks to maintain. To grow as a person, as he rightly phrased, man is a social animal.
Yeah.
We come across people in our everyday lives, we come across many people. We come across loads of people who can help us in several ways. Everyone contributes in one or the other way, and we can take something from every person we know to evolve as a person, to learn something, and not necessarily for a professional basis. To grow as a human too, we can take, we can learn things from people around us. So I think that
This is definitely,
yes,
just beyond one point, or
yes.
one
Yeah.
area of
It
connecting.
reminds me of that quote. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it's something along the lines of, if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want
Oh
to go
yes,
strong, if you want to have the complete experience, you have to go together.
together. That's definitely. Do you think now, thinking from very present generations, or maybe now think everyone in the world is thinking about visibility? Do you think networking helps you in some kind of visibility?
100%, definitely. I
Mm-hmm.
think networking definitely helps in your visibility a lot. The more you connect to people, I mean, it doesn't end at me connecting with one person. When I connect to that one person, I will probably be exposed to a lot more people. I will be exposed to people through that one person. And that does increase your visibility a lot. And in this generation, there's being visible and being relevant is a very, very important aspect,
Yeah.
right? You need to be visible to be relevant enough, and everybody wants to be relevant.
You know, I,
It's network of networking.
Yes.
Yeah.
and like, this may seem like the furthest thing from the topic right now, but this entire system of wanting visibility
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of historical roots. Like, if we look at Gen Z and the generation of the Renaissance, there are a lot of similarities, because in both scenarios, some kind of groundbreaking technology, in their case the printing press and platforms to perform, and in our case social media, which is the biggest performing platform of them all,
Mm-hmm.
these groundbreaking technologies were introduced, and because of this, individuality and self expression has become not a choice but more of a mandate.
Yeah, and if you also, I mean, I'll gather from here is that if you have something to give to the world, you can give it only if you network with someone with who, or a situation or a place or a
Yeah.
person which can take it beyond just for your personal realm of realities.
Correct.
And another thing which comes in mind is networking. Do you think it helps in some kind of support system, especially as students and professionals?
I think definitely,
Mhm.
because if I can give an example of myself,
Uh-huh.
I am going to the field of design, and I only knew about these two, three colleges that everyone talks about, and I was very focused on giving exams for only those two, three colleges. Now I have friends and who happen to be Orchid alumnus who are also in the field of design. They went to a college that is not one of these popular two, three colleges. That is not very renowned. It's very upcoming. It's new. But from what it's very new, it opened just 2, 3 years back. But from what I've heard from people there, it's an amazing college. I mean, it's something that now, after learning about it, I would definitely want to try going there, and I will definitely give the entrance exam. So, and that's all thanks to that friend of mine
That
who helped me,
network
that
you have.
network of mine
That's
that
very
helped.
nice.
Yes.
I mean, otherwise you have your resources but limited. But if you have friends and friends of friends giving you some information,
Correct.
you would like to try that
Correct.
all.
Correct.
And towards the very end, when I'm trying to summarize it, do you also think this networking, in terms of increasing your worth, is also adding some credibility to the person who's trying to network, or who's in a network which is probably better than mine? If you have a better network than mine, and then you have more credibility, more people to take you as a huge resource, for not only you as a resource but for everyone.
I feel like networking, especially networks that are handed over to you, for example, family, is your starting point.
Mhm.
And everything that you do is building on top of this network. And because of that, some people have to start from zero in terms of networking, and some people have already started from a very high place. Taking the example of like the Ambanis and the Kardashians, who are both families who have extensively networked in all the different fields, and they also have a big online presence, and they have had this for years, decades even. And because of that, it gives them a certain level of credibility or even a starting point. For example, if a random person, not a random person, but an influencer of, suppose, like medium or moderately high popularity, uh, promotes a product, it may or may not work. But if Isha Ambani or Khloe Kardashian ends up promoting the same product, it will be taken much more seriously. It won't just be taken as, I don't know who this person is. Maybe they were paid a large amount by the brand, and because of that, they're doing it. Maybe I can't rely on this. The thoughts don't go there. They go directly to, oh, it's a really well known person. It becomes not parasocial but slightly parasocial, that I know this person, and the fact that they're presenting me with this product means it's reliable, because they would not recommend this product to me if they trust in it themselves, because they have that choice.
Their reputation, their credibility is at stake.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in this, I've also understood one thing while you were saying this. There is a reverse logic also. If you have a good net worth, then probably network would also be
Yes, that's
better.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
I must sum this up in very relevant way, because we are talking to students, and through you we are sending the message that networking is important, right? Whether you're doing personally social media, but choose what you're networking with, right? Because everyone, what you do, choose as your network is going to impact what you want to be in future. Because I have understood and I've learned that recently, when even people are hiring the young people, they are not calling them in one-on-one before they really have checked their social media, who what is their network, and then they talk about what is your net worth, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to
Yes.
negotiate on the basis of what
That's
kind of
right.
network you have. So thank you so much for sharing your ideas and thoughts. Very technical to very very because you also are following the combination of humanities
Yes.
and
Yes.
arts. So we could get to hear all the perspectives from the students' point of view. That um, it's important to be in company of the people, those who can create a network of some worth for you. And definitely, it's beyond just monetary or in terms of how much do you earn and all. It
Yeah.
is much more the growth which you earn through this network. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience, for being part of every episode here. Because if you feel there is any topic we have not covered so far, please let us know. Because we want to talk about what is relevant to all of us, not just one generation. Thank you so much. God bless you till we meet again.